tragic war has ravaged Cybertron. It is a necessary war to return us to glory. One shall stand. One shall fall.
With the announcement of Hasbro releasing a Studio Series War for Cybertron toy line, I am taking the opportunity to pay tribute to the source of inspiration for the new wave of toys. Released in August 2012, we were graced with the Transformers War for Cybertron game. Now keep in mind at this point in time, Transformers had been reintroduced to the world by Michael Bay with 3 movie titles, which have attracted a fan base to the franchise, while leaving more of us older generation questioning some of the character design choices to our beloved characters. Key point being, Bumblebee does not look like a bastardized T-800 with yellow Camaro panels, sporting a permanent dummy attached to his mouth. Great job, guys. You really understood the source material there. Thankfully, the folks at High Moon Studios understood the assignment, and while the characters are not 100% identical to the original Generation 1 designs, they are recognizable to any fan of the franchise, new and old alike. The game itself is broken into 2 campaigns, Decepticon and Autobot, giving you, the player, the opportunity to choose your allegiance. However, should you want the full War for Cybertron experience, you need to start with the Decepticon campaign and play through the entirety of the game. Through both campaigns, you'll be given the option to start each level with a character of choosing from the game's selected roster. In ground traversal levels, for the Decepticons you are given the options of Megatron, Barricade, and Brawl. And for the Autobots lineup you have Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, and Ratchet. For the aerial-based combat levels, you will get access to the Fabled Seekers, which are Starscream, Skywarp, and Thundercracker. Or, on the Autobot side of things, you get Jetfire, Air Raid, and Silverbolt. The game starts with Megatron leading a reign on Starscream's space station. Yes, an interesting twist to the story is that Starscream is not yet aligned with the Decepticons. This alone sets the stage for a new story to be told within the Transformers universe. Megatron is seeking a way to win the war, an energy source called Dark Energon, which he can use to turn the tide of Cybertronian civil war in his favour. What you will notice is the attention to detail in the environment, and how different this is to many traditional games. There is no relevance to a sustainable atmosphere or anything resembling human survival requirements. This in itself has given the creative team unprecedented freedom to really immerse themselves into the game and create environments which might be considered the norm for a Cybertronian. One touch I particularly like is the playable character models. You can see on Megatron as he navigates the environment, his body is moving and the parts on his back and arms mechanically displacing in and out as if adjusting themselves as a reflex, in the same manner as humans might blink or breathe. It's an unconscious movement. The game itself is a third-person shooter, and as you navigate the levels in order to achieve the objective, the other 2 playable characters you didn't choose from the roster will be following you and act as support. Don't get too confident. Their support isn't great. Be prepared to do a lot of the manhandling yourself. But what this does offer is in-game banter between the character you have chosen and the others which follow you throughout the game.
Hail, Lord Megatron! Do not speak unless spoken to.
You will be faced with mediocre obstacles, which can typically be removed from your path with a shot of your weapon, finding a switch to extend a bridge or open a door, or just timing your way around obstacles which would otherwise cause you harm. Nothing too hard, right? This becomes a little more tricky when you are met with enemy variants who either fly or drive and come armed with different levels of weaponry. Some have machine guns, others have sniper rifles, and some even have rocket launchers. This for the most part isn't too hard to deal with. This does come frustrating with a moving target, and if you're not careful, it's easy to become overwhelmed by the amount of enemy variants ready to stop you from completing the level. Added to the amount of enemies which can flood a particular game space, War for Cybertron isn't always handing you ammunition in abundance. You really need to make sure that when you take a shot, it lands on its target. Otherwise, you can find yourself in a position with no ammo. Not to worry though, every Cybertronian comes with a built-in melee weapon, which can be used as frequently as you like, which if used properly will allow you to conserve your ammo for when it really counts. As you defeat enemies, they will drop small energon fragments, which will heal you for a specific amount. Your health bar is divided into 4 squares. The energon you will gather will top up a square which is being emptied out as you take damage, but cannot cross from one square into another. To refill your health bar completely, you will need to find a health crate. As a player, you are not limited to the weapon you start the level with, and as you progress through the game, you will find secondary weapons scattered throughout. One addition that absolutely blew my mind the first time I saw this is that weapons are transformed into the player's right arm. So as you change weapon, you get to witness an animation of the right arm changing into the primary or secondary weapons. Keep your eyes open, and you can also find turrets. The turrets, when left attached to their stand, have infinite ammunition. When a playable character interfaces with a turret, you see another animation of the character molding into the device to assume player control. Turrets are also detachable, giving you the ability to traverse in the level with a mind-melting rate of fire to turn enemy variants into Swiss cheese. This comes at a cost of mobility, and the turret ammunition now runs out at 300 rounds.
Can you transform?
Yes, transforming is player controlled, and you can do this at will as you play, which also gives you access to a third weapon which cannot be changed or altered. This comes in particularly handy when moving through levels as an air-based transformer. These levels are good at keeping the gameplay from getting too stale and giving you a break from the traditional walk, drive, shoot, repeat aspect. However, while traversing the environment, these levels are designed to keep you in your vehicular form more than your robot form.
You're an idiot, Starscream!
At the end of each faction storyline, you will be met with a Titan-based transformer. For the Decepticons, you are met with Omega Supreme. And if you have watched Generation 1, you know he is a monotone powerhouse and his boss fight is nothing less. Similarly, at the end of the Autobots campaign, you'll be met with Trypticon, who is essentially a space station which transforms into something like Mecha Godzilla, except better. What I don't like about the game is the rate of fire, especially for some more of our iconic weapons like Megatron's Requiem Blaster. A good second or two between shots, and aiming is not always as accurate as I would like. While these weapons almost always are one-hit wonder, it is frustrating when the shot doesn't connect on a stationary target. The same goes with level traversal and reaction time to inputs. Often I found myself running off crates in an attempt to get to a second floor, only to find the character would overrun the edge area and dropping back down for me to have to start the entire sequence again. All in all, these aren't major setbacks and just annoyances in my opinion, which could be refined out. What I love about this game is what was put into the story, levels, and character models. This game really took me back to my childhood and gave me the ability to see Cybertron in a different light and explore the whole world as it's being torn apart by war. The boss fights really gave me the sense that I was up against a Titan-class Transformer and the odds were stacked against me. All in all, if you ever had the opportunity to play War for Cybertron when they were first released, they still hold their own weight in today's world. Perhaps not as graphically refined as the newer titles are, but a solid and enjoyable game nonetheless. Now, if you've made it this far into watching my video, I just wanted to say thank you. This is my first entry into creating my own space, so please let me know your thoughts. What did you like? What didn't you like? And what do you think can be better?
Any further objections?
And I'd just like to say a big thank you to my wife and to my brother for pushing me to put something out there for you to watch. And if you haven't already, go check out my brother's channel Duty. I'll pop a link below. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.